They're going to put up the veil of the temple that God tore down and rebuild it. And that is going to be an abomination. And they're going to be sanctioned by the rest of the world in their coming against God. So when you see Jerusalem, you see what's going to happen. Once that agreement is made concerning the Temple Mount, and the city will be divided into three parts of what they call the same religious, all meaning the same God, worshiping this. And they are. They're going to worship the God of this world, the Antichrist. They're going to bow down and worship him. And they're then going to do away with all the traditional things that have brought division of the Muslims, the Jew, and the Christians. And they're going to do the things that make for peace. And they're going to have the United Nations New World Order of military forces to bring peace there in Israel. So if you people don't realize how close they are to doing that, the news is inundated. They are now coming up with the red heifer, which will be used for that most holy sacrifice. They're talking about building the temple, and I just finished looking at a most recent article where the Jews today are demanding that the Al-Aqsa Mosque be removed so that the temple can be rebuilt. And we know that's vital. We know that it's not going to come about peacefully. There will have to be some kind of an agreement with the system that is, with the power and structure that be, in order to bring about the rebuilding of the temple, the renewing of the sacrifices, the shedding of the blood and bulls and goats, and watching Israel again, the nation of the Jews, reject the message of their Christ. Now, I understand that there is going to be a remnant saved even out of Jerusalem and out of Israel. But the majority of this world is not going to be saved, and the covetous world are going to be destroyed as they challenge the government of God. And we're watching the abomination where God takes his hands off of the world system, off of the world religions, preserves them no more, turns them over to Satan, and he will destroy them, every last one, all in the name of peace. Peace, peace, when there is no peace. When you see these things begin to come to pass, you look up, lift up your head. Now he's talking to the redeemed, to those who are waiting for redemption in Israel. They're not undefeated by any means, for that day will not come. However, that day will come, and that day is now upon us, as we see the day approaching. Many things are happening today. It's quite obvious that we are teetering on the very edge of life as we have known it. The prophecies of John the Revelator are being fulfilled. There are a few things that prophetically speaking are solid and indisputable that are happening right now. In fact, these things happen to be events people have been watching and waiting for many, many years. And it's happening in our generation, the last generation. What about this one? The significant need of a red heifer. We've heard about it for several years. We thought they've had it 2 or 3 times. And now we find out that there is a project that could bring it about because of scientific achievement by man's ingenuity or engineering. In the past, the people of Israel waited for the birth of a potential red heifer. With Torah knowledge and advanced science now, the Temple Institute has now begun to actively pursue this commandment. And they are going to produce, by modern technology and what have you, a red Angus cattle is now going to be raised, and in 2 years it will be ready for the sacrifice of the blood of bulls and goats or the red heifer. It has begun. On July 21st, 2015, Israel made an official call for the rebuilding of the third temple to replace the mosque. According to the Temple Institute, they are in a hurry for the completion of the long-awaited third temple. It's only a matter of time now as we see the officials in Israel who are expressing their desire for the construction of a third temple, and it must be placed on the Temple Mount where the Muslim mosque is sitting. They went on to tell us, this Israel official, that the mosque is currently in place of the temple, despite the temple being much holier than it, and now that Israel has once again become a Jewish sovereign state, the desire to rebuild the temple is growing stronger and stronger. The temple prophetically will be rebuilt in a direct opposition to waiting for the people of God, who will be the temple of God that will take place when Jesus comes. The prophecies are being fulfilled, enacted, perpetuated right before your very eyes, people. Of course, most of you got your eyes on other things of the world, so therefore you're not watching, then you will not know, and most of you do not know, that the hour of the final judgment has come. This prophet reminds you of it every time you turn. The voice of the last day prophet, the messenger of the covenant, that Jesus said, if I go away, where it was spoken on the Temple Mount, if I go away, the same Jesus that you have seen go away into heaven shall so come again in like manner as you see him go. The Temple Mount, Bethesda, right outside of the Temple Mount. Jesus ascended into heaven, and it's right there where he's going to descend and place his feet one more time on the Mount of Olives to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth. I just want to one more time reiterate. You know, someone just called me down and said, hey, Brother Steve, check out what this guy's saying. Check out what that guy's saying. Then when I respond, what are you doing listening to? This is the voice. There's nothing those men are telling you that has not already been spoken of by this prophet for well over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. For instance here, they reported that a rabbi was presented with a pamphlet written by another rabbi dealing with the end of days and many other related prophecies. This rabbi, who was a pillar of the Jewish community, also known for his books on the Torah law, after a short consideration, he told those around him that the pamphlet needed to be distributed, and that Jews living outside Israel should return to their ancestral land. After a lifetime of immersing himself in classical Jewish texts, this rabbi informed various media sites that the rabbi is talking about the Messiah all the time. When asked about the timing of the Messiah's arrival, the rabbi answered, at the end of the sabbatical year. Several people asked the rabbi to verify this, and he has given them the same answer each time. And this year, 2015, is a sabbatical year. It will be ending on the 29th day of Elul, which is by Gregorian calendar, falls on Saturday, September the 12th. My dear friends, the third temple, the return of animal sacrifices, the splitting up of the Temple Mount between the Jews and the Muslims and the apostate Christianity, the offering up of the sacrifice, preparing for it, are all pointing to this time that you are now living in. We are going to see a very timely period begin this September. How many years have I told you that the Feast of Trumpets, which comes in the month of September, is the earmarking of the time in any given year that Christ is going to return when the last trumpet is played or blown. You'll be getting the admonition of that over and over again as we blow the trumpet around the world to remind you that the coming of the Lord is near and that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and it's time for all of the righteous saints to press into it. You said, Brother Steve, you're always putting down somebody else. Why do you think I do that? Because, my friend, God has gone to such great lengths. $40 million spent to have this voice heard all over the world, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That doesn't impress you at all? Well, this other guy's on the internet. This was over here, he's on satellite radio. But the overcomer is on all these internets, all these places, all these satellites, 5 of them, and over 30-some shortwave transmitting frequencies every day, every hour, all the time. The voice of one crying in the wilderness of prophetic confusion and distortion, just simply telling you the sign of his coming is going very, very near.
Yes, Brother Stewart. I'm listening to you from the Arkansas Ozark Province. And the more that I listen to you, the more that I'm convinced that you are correct about a great many things. Thank you for your efforts to lead people to Christ. Please continue.
It does already work. Little children, children of God, you know that the Antichrist must come because it's the last time. And he must come. And when you see so much talk or assertion or acts that point to the Antichrist coming, then you know it is the last time. So many questions today, huh? Is Pope the Antichrist? Is he the false prophet? Mr. Benedict, was he the Antichrist? Clinton, the Antichrist? Putin, Prince Charles? On and on we go. And nobody seems to know, although they act like they know. Now the Bible tells us about the Antichrist. The Bible tells us that he, the man of sin, or the man in whom the originator of sin will live and dwell and exercise the power of sin, that man will be revealed in his time. Not before time, and when his time is over, he will be gone. Woe be unto the inhabitants of the earth, for Satan has come down unto you, having great wrath, for he knoweth that he hath but a short time. We are beginning to see the world get in a position to be destroyed by the destroyer, the Antichrist, Satan, in a man, and then in all men who identify with Satan. He will be revealed. Now, people keep wondering why they won't know or don't know, so they speculate. They speculate. I was just reading an article here where a woman speculating about who the Antichrist is and who the false prophet is, and how so many people now are talking about Pope Francis being the false prophet or the Antichrist, actually. And she went on and said, we really should not be concerned about that because all these different religions, they all believe in the same enmity. You know, there's Allah, Buddha, it's all the same enmity to God, and we need to stop putting each other down and criticizing the other, and all just come and realize we're worshiping God, and then we'll have a world of peace. And they will say, peace, peace, when there is no peace. The woman is a liar. That's all there is to it. these people that tell you who the Antichrist is, they're lying.